the framework. All of our minds have a bent. It has a way about us, the mind outside of Christ. And even this is a heart matter, right? So it has a spirit. Be renewed in the spirit of your mind. Renew my mindset, my framework. I often put on the spot, but we had this conversation I have with my kids. My daughter and I, we had this a lot as she's getting older. And we talk about like, is that like sometimes, and I can say it to her because I live that way and I have to be mindful of it. I have so many walls I can put up in my mind. And I take that back to some of y'all went all the way back. Remember rented rooms? So what happens is I say, God, I'm not going to do this. That's not me. I'm not this. And I thank you, sis, I thank you for your transparency. If y'all was on prayer, you understand. You can't get this whole revelation if you're not on prayer. No, it's messing. But with sharing the truth, I appreciate that so much. I was like, oh, that's so good. So often we tell God who we are and what we can and cannot do. That's a hard heart. I cannot and I don't want to. And we're expected to do something different with that mindset. Whew. All right. So that's what's wrong with our minds. Fallen minds, self-driven, self-centered. The pride of life. I exalt self above all things. It's hard to love people when I am the premium in my life. That's a mindset. You can say, won't you love me? But I have the mindset that I am king over all. The Lord has to be Lord of our mind, not just for like formalities. Is when God is king over my mind, when he is in order, then I have proper space and love for everybody else. When I am Lord over my mind and king in my mind, then I reign supreme and everybody falls subject to me. So that's what's wrong with our minds. Why does our mind need renewing? Let's talk about this. Why does the mind need renewing? Romans 12, you go back to that because it doesn't just say be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Mind renovations. It gives a clause. Be transformed by the renewing of your mind that you may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of God. Why does the mind need renewal? So that I may know God's acceptable and perfect will for my life. Now, let's qualify that. Because sometimes we say, I want to know God's perfect will. I want to know whether or not to go to school or start this job or this, that. We're not talking about these things. These are temporal things. How do I live out? Remember, let's go back to that city, this new established city. How do we now live? What are the governing things in my life now that we are new? What is the will for the one who establishes the town? The town has to ask, what do you want us to do? How do you want us to look? How should we function, right? That's why every town, state has bylaws or a constitution or something. There has to be something to govern it. How should we be? That is the question that you're saying. To know God's will is how do I live out this new life? That's a simple statement. Renew your mind so that you know how to live out this new life. But you have to say it that way. Because we're not thinking, what do I need to do, God, in life? How should I live? That's a Selah moment. I have to change my mind because, Lord, how do you want me to live? What do you mean by how do you want me to live? I'm going to get real practical for us, right? Amen. 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 Amen.